Hello everyone! Remember the last time that you slammed your hand in a car door? Now imagine that, except the car door closed 10 times harder. In this scenario, 2 of your fingers roll under the car seat, right next to your lost cell phone and 3 boxes of Tic Tacs, just in that sweet spot where you can never get them back. In this hypothetical, you'd be a prime candidate for the product I'm going to talk about today, the Microsoft Adaptive Controller. Not only would your gaming needs be resolved after an accident with the car door or, I don't know, a lawnmower by this product, people with all sorts of unfortunate birth defects could also be able to play video games for the first time. Today I'll be explaining how it works, what kinds of people can benefit from it, and why it's important to be able to play video games in the first place. The word adaptive in Adaptive Controller is a good beginning at explaining its ability to help just about anybody. The device itself looks like an old Nintendo controller, except much larger at a foot across. The directional button is bigger, which helps to ensure that the player can go the direction that they intended to. As Samantha Cooney tells us in a Time article called Making Gaming More Inclusive, posted in November of 2018, the device has 2 large buttons that are 4 inches across, which can be easily pushed with an elbow or even your chin. These 2 buttons can be mapped or programmed to correspond with buttons that would match on a standard Xbox One controller. They also have inputs in the back, as Mark Wilson explains in a Fast Company article called Microsoft's Trickiest Product Might Be Its Most Important, posted in September of 2019. In that, he tells us that it has 3.5mm jacks that can host up to 19 different devices, including an arcade-style joystick, a foot pedal, other large buttons for programming, as well as even sip and puff sensors. Mark Wilson's article also begins to talk about populations that could be benefited by the device, including military veterans. It's no secret that being a soldier is a dangerous job. If you've ever seen a commercial for the Wounded Warrior Project, then you're probably aware that hands and even entire arms can be lost with some regularity during this particular vocation. One obvious job that might be dangerous for fingers might be firefighters, who routinely expose themselves to flames and must trust in only their equipment to protect themselves from conditions that are clearly not meant for humans. Other jobs that are risky for fingers include mechanic and landscaper, who often have their hands on or even inside of machinery with a lot of moving parts, sharp parts, or just plain heavy parts. But beyond accidents, a lot of hand anomalies can be a result of birth, as Nina Powell Hamilton points out in a Merck Manuals article called Overview of Birth Defects, posted in July of 2019. In the article, she states that 7.5% of all children are born with some kind of defect. Most of these are minor, with major defects occurring in closer to 3 to 4% of the newborn population. It's important to note that many of these are correctable through surgery, and some of them are preventable with good nutrition and abstinence from alcohol, but the cause of many of them is unknown. Whether it be a birth defect or an accident from work or everyday life, a controller that can adapt to various handicaps is not only a game changer, it's a game maker. So why should it be important that people be able to play video games anyway? Games are a series of challenges to overcome. Video games, because of their ability to push boundaries, have the power and the responsibility to challenge the players, helping them to develop puzzle-solving skills, lightning-fast response times, and dropping them into immersive environments that demand paying attention to multiple aspects at a time. Think of your favorite first-person shooter, be it Halo, Call of Duty, Borderlands, you name it. You gotta keep track of your own ammo count, know where your enemies are, and also know a few places where you can hide for cover so that you can recover. This ability to divert attention is important on the work floor, as well as in a house full of kids, where a main objective can be complicated by a series of smaller obstacles. Multiplayer is also good for staying on top of social trends and language. We live in a world where memes can change the language overnight, so access to other players is a good way to stay on top of the social trends in your local language. Also, as Tom Jacobs points out in an article called Video Games Can Encourage Positive Behavior Too, posted to Miller McCune in July of 2009, video games are good for self-esteem. Those little challenges that you overcome are real victories. These are memories that you can draw from in times of doubt. So now we should all have a better idea of how the device works, who can benefit from it, and why disenfranchisement from video games is a bad thing. So remember, the next time that someone knocks you down in a head-to-head match, or takes down your score on a leaderboard, it might be someone who's playing video games effectively for the first time thanks to this wonderful new invention.